We have some breaking news from the Bittensor ecosystem that could literally change everything.
The biggest industry in the world, the banking system, with trillions of dollars at stake, is about to tap into the Bittensor ecosystem. And in today's episode, we're going to tell you the project that's doing it.
Welcome to the Bean Pod. This is your place for all things stocks and crypto. From beginner tips to expert picks. Use this as fuel for your investing journey, because when you're in the know, your money will grow.
This episode of the Bean Pod is sponsored by bigget.
Bigget is the most user-friendly and secure crypto trading platform for both beginners and experienced traders.
Bigget is the best place to not only trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, but also all the small cap gems that we discuss every day.
With 24/7 customer support, leverage trading, and a wide array of other advanced features, Bigget sets itself apart from every other centralized exchange.
Through Beanstock's official partnership with Bigget, you'll receive 15% off all trading fees when you sign up using the referral link in the description.
All views expressed by speakers on the Bean Pod are solely their opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed on the Bean Pod as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a specific strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. This podcast is for informational purposes only.
Welcome to the Bean Pod. This is Shane, aka the Jolly Green Investor.
This is Josh, the Nifty Investor.
Today we have a very important update from the Bittensor ecosystem. The multi-trillion-dollar banking industry is set to tap into the revolutionized technology from Bittensor. And in today's episode, we're going to tell you the project that's doing it.
I'm so happy we stumbled across this subnet because, first of all, we know about a lot of these other ones, right? We got Subnet 10 that does the swaps. We got other ones that are doing like decentralized sports betting. But I didn't even think of this use case. This is a really fascinating one because all banks from around the world are required to actually utilize something just like this. And this is going to really change the way I think the entire banking industry performs from here on out.
For sure. So when it comes to banking, transactions, settlements, cross borders, all that kind of stuff, one of the biggest problems that plagues banks from around the world is fraud, right? You always hear about an unbelievable billions and billions of dollars are being stolen from banks, from users, from customers, from banks all around the world every year. And now AI, and specifically Bittensor's AI, could have found a new solution to help banks become more effective at not only identifying fraud, but stabilizing their entire ecosystem at a much lower price.
So banks and other major financial institutions are required by regulators to test for fraud and anti-money laundering techniques, like weekly, daily, monthly. And if they don't, they are often charged massive amounts in fines, which ultimately damages the bank's reputation. And there's a whole cascading effect. But what these guys are doing is changing the game because they're taking what is typically a manual process and turning it into a fully automated AI process.
So the subnet we're talking about today is Subnet 54. The name is Yanez. And basically what they're doing is they built an AI system that is automatically creating hundreds, thousands, millions of AI-generated user personas and testing them in banks all around the world, all the ones that are going to partner with them, to see if their fraud detection systems are up in line, right? And normally what banks are doing to test these systems is doing this manually. And this costs a lot of money and a lot of time. And this is how AI is revolutionizing the world in every other industry. They're doing things at a fraction of the cost in a fraction of the time. And Yanez is doing the same thing for fraud detection for the multi-trillion-dollar banking sector.
So essentially what Yanez is doing is they are generating synthetic identities, and they can be used to test the anti-fraud policies that these banks have in place. So basically they will create a whole bunch of fake identities and see if the bank's policies and what they currently have in place can actually detect if these are real or fake users.
And banks and financial institutions around the world are already spending over $200 billion a year on this exact system. So Yanez is selling this new compliance software, which is built with AI, at a fraction of the cost. And I can almost guarantee it's going to be much, much more accurate. So if you're a bank with billions or trillions of dollars, all these insane institutions, why would you not tap into the Bittensor ecosystem now and use Yanez to, one, secure your users and actually make it more safe for anyone to use your bank, and two, save your bank a ton of money?
Yeah, because it's the cost of failure, I think, that really costs these banks a ton of money because of the fine, the reputation, and the losses. So did you know, deficient anti-money laundering programs have led to $320 billion in fines to these banks over the last 15 years. That is an astronomical number. So if you can tap into something like Yanez, you can now save yourself billions of dollars in fines because look, there's a lot of people out there who want to get your money. Like it's simple as that.
For sure. And it's just such an easy sell for a bank because like we mentioned earlier in the episode, they're currently doing manual testing. So what manual testing looks like is having some analysts write out a bunch of scripts or edge cases and test them against the bank's software. Well, that might be good for a small scale operation and to do a couple of times to see if it really works, but you can't scale that over a bank that has hundreds or thousands of locations, a huge server with millions of customers, or talk about scaling that to hundreds or thousands of banks around the world. You would need hundreds or thousands of analysts. It just doesn't scale. That's where AI comes in, and that's where Yanez and the Bittensor technology comes in. They can do the same thing that these manual testers do for a fraction of the cost at a much more scalable rate. It's a simple sell for me.
Yeah, Yanez has an AI generator that unleashes thousands of different identities, and basically these different like synthetic identities will have misspellings of their name, maybe incorrect addresses, different like obfuscations, which basically test the compliance system of the banks. And I think that this is uniquely positioned to disrupt the entire banking industry, like I said.
For sure. If you're a bank, it makes so much sense. You don't want to get fined because it's going to cost your bank a ton of money. You want to keep your reputation because reputation is everything for a bank. So what are you going to do? You're going to invest your money wisely to have the most up-to-date, scalable anti-fraud detection software in the world. And Yanez and the Bittensor ecosystem looks to be providing one of the best products in this ecosystem. You don't want to get fined. You want to save money. You don't want to get your reputation blown out by an actual fraud event. What are you going to do? You're going to use Yanez.
Yeah, look, it's a living, self-improving test bed. Basically, if you implement Yanez's systems, you can constantly and automatically continue testing your system that you have in place. You're basically doing surveillance 24/7 versus bringing in a third-party independent company for a set period of time. They make some mistakes. There's a lot of things that can get through the cracks, and that's why I think what makes Yanez so special.
For sure. So the technology makes a lot of sense. They're tackling a multi-trillion-dollar, one of the largest industries in the world, and they've already secured several multi-year contracts with global financial organizations. So not only is this an idea, but they have contracts to actually put this into place. So this could actually start to roll out very quickly. And once the banks start to get a note of it, I'm not sure why anyone would not be using this. So look, we're bullish on Bittensor. We're bullish on all the subnets as a whole. Specifically now why we are bullish on Yanez.
Hey, make sure you guys tune to the next episode.
That one is going to be a banger.
All views expressed by speakers on the BeanPod are solely their opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed on the BeanPod as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a specific strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. This podcast is for informational purposes only.